Hey, how's it going? How's everybody's day, night, whatever time it is? um, I wanted to share this message with somebody. Someone may find it useful, someone may find encouragement in it. I had this experience a little while ago where I was laying in my bed, I was praising, I was worshiping, I was praying. This was like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. And so as I was in bed praying and all of that, the Lord told me to stand up. And at first I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm praying, studying, I'm praising, comfortable, going through it, but I'm comfortable in bed. And after I had that thought in my mind, I paused for a minute and then I was like, and I stood up. I got up slow and I walked to the front of my bed and I stood there. Out of nowhere, the Lord came to me. I don't remember any facial features or any detail like that. What I do remember is a shining bright light, and I remember seeing the outline of this pure white gown. And instantly I start to get nervous. And as we're standing there, he puts his hand on my shoulder. And the whole time I'm looking down. I can't raise my head. It felt like 1,000,000 pounds. It was at that moment that the Lord spoke to me and he asked me, why do you hold your head down? And I told the Lord that I'm not worthy. I'm sinful. I had always had the thought that if I ever got face to face with the Lord, that I would be jumping up and down. I'd be praising and going crazy. But it wasn't at all anything like that. I held my head down and I couldn't pick it up because all of my sins start coming to me. All of my sins start playing in my head all at once. It was like a film reel playing all of my sin that I did in my entire life all at once. I went through it in my head. And to be honest, I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed, period. And all of a sudden, the atmosphere around us changed. Everything, it seemed like everything stopped. Everything went quiet. It got a little bit hotter too, I ain't even gonna lie to you. And the Lord took this defensive tone, whereas up until this point, he was like soft almost and inquisitive. And so with this defensive tone, he asked me, who told you that you had to be perfect to qualify for the peace of God? It was almost like he got angry, but it wasn't like he was insulted by what I just told him. He got angry for me. And it's like if you pick your kid up from school and they come running out the school with a bloody nose and all they keep saying is that man hit me, that man hit me. And you're like instantly infuriated. You're like, what man? Show me. What man hit you? You're like, you're in this mode where at the end of the day, you might need bail money. So after that, he disappeared. He was gone. Everything in the room lit up. It wasn't intense anymore. It got a little bit cooler. And I laid down and I started thinking. What came to mind was Mark 10:18. And it reads, why do you call me good? And this is Jesus talking. No one is good except God alone. And so I start thinking like, maybe I'm putting too much on myself. Maybe I'm setting my self expectations a little bit too high. Maybe by doing that, I'm causing myself extra stress that I really don't need. As Christians and as humans, period, we tend to do that. We tend to put too much on ourselves, especially if you're a perfectionist. Nothing is ever good enough. You got to do it better. You got to do it quicker. You got to do it bigger. Nothing is ever good enough. Like, for example, you could have been praying for your dream car, and God gives it to you. He's like, I heard you, my son. I heard you, my daughter. Here's a gift. Here's your dream car. And I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure you are. If you aren't, forgive me. But the first thing you start thinking is, oh, I got to get some rims. I'm about to throw some rims on there. I got to get beat. I got to get a system. I want it to sound good. I got to get tint. I got to get a wrap. I'm going to wrap it. And then you start thinking like, well, dang, that's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm going to have to put in extra hours at work. I'm about to ask my boss if I could have 2 extra shifts a week. And now you have all this extra added stress, and you just got the blessing of a lifetime. Now you have to be at your job that you probably already hate extra time. You got to be around so-and-so that you don't like, that dresses weird, or whatever the fact may be. Double time now. You got to be around them double time. You can't just put in a regular shift and you're like, whew, thank God I get to go home. No, you got to be there extra. And all this stress is compounded when maybe the gift that God gave you was perfect already. And that's how we can turn a blessing into a burden. Those words that the Lord asked me, who told you that you had to be perfect for the peace of God? It resonates with me every day, because I had always had the thought that you had to be this perfect, sinless being to get into heaven. I thought that I had to be without sin to get love from God, which is not true, and it's not even possible for that matter. Like, let's say you attain this fabled perfection. Let's say you are labeled perfect. What space does that leave for Jesus to come in and change you? What space does that leave for him to do his tinkering and make you a new being? Okay, you think like perfection. The Lord said that only God is good. He said God is good alone. We could spend an entire lifetime on earth trying to emulate what Jesus is and not make it, because all have fallen short of the glory of God. And if that's the fact, perfection is out the window. I mean, the Lord resisted every temptation known to man. He resisted the devil face to face in person. I don't know anybody who has resisted every temptation that's been set in front of their face. It's just the fact that, in my opinion, reaching perfection is unattainable. But what makes more sense is to be happy with who you are, hope and work for better, and trust God to do the rest. It's like, if you are striving for something and you don't get it this time, instead of shutting down and telling yourself, man, you suck, just tell yourself, well, I didn't get it this time, maybe I'll get it next time. And I'm working, so it only gets easier. And that's a saying that I have when I start to stress and I start to worry and doubt, and I break down to the point where I'm about to shut everything down. I tell myself it only gets easier. When you're at the gym, let's say you're lifting 50 pounds and it feels like the weight of the world. And then you go home and you come back. That 50 pounds is going to be just a little bit lighter. And that's going to give you more motivation. And then next week, you're going to be lifting 100 pounds. All in all, don't be so hard on yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes and get better. I mean, Matthew 22, verses 36 through 38, it says, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." He didn't say thou shalt be perfect. God's going to love you regardless. We love God because he first loved us. So You don't have to chase perfection. You don't have to be a perfect being for God to love you. You don't have to be a perfect being for God to do wonders in your life, to answer those prayers, to fix that situation that you've been worried about, that brings fear in your mind instantly, even when you're having the greatest time of your life. I mean, we spend days and months of our lives chasing something that is already given to us. God already loves you. So love God, be easy on yourself, improve, and know that God is going to do the rest. I hope this helps somebody. I hope it helps you. If you think that this could help somebody or uplift somebody, feel free to share it and enjoy the rest of your night. Peace. God bless.